Happy Thursday! We're live. Going, Veronica.
Hey everyone. Hi Tori.
Hey, how's your week been?
So far so good. Happy it's almost like TGIF.
Thank God. I need a weekend.
How about you?
Oh yeah, it's been busy, but good. You know, working away, relaxing over the weekend, hopefully. But it's another Thursday night, so we're here with another question that we asked last night, and the question was how have you changed since you have been in recovery? Right, that was it.
Yeah. So yeah, what are the biggest changes you see in yourself since being sober? So I think we've somewhat, to give people a little background, thank you for tuning in, by the way, for those of you who are. We've kind of been, going back to basics on some of the topics. We are here every Thursday night and have been doing this for about a year. We sort of just kind of hop on here and talk about topics we think are going to be relevant. And we've gone back to basics instead of, going off deep topics, for lack of a better word. And, last week we talked about, what did we talk about last week? But I remember
how, the hardest thing about getting sober.
Right. So it was sort of like, now we're talking about the changes. So we discussed kind of like what was so difficult. And that was a really enlightening conversation, just because it was neat to see what some people found more difficult than others. But now this week we're talking about the changes. And I'm going to take a wild guess that most of the changes have been positive. So it's kind of like some hope there, because again, my whole thing is just, a lot of us on this page and in this community have put together a few days and probably have some times, and we tend to forget about the newcomer, right? And, how hard it was to just get through a few days. So I really want to let the newcomer know, you are welcome. We do think about you, and we think about what's important to you right now.
There is a newcomer and I'm going to say hi to a couple people. Megan says hi. Samantha, she is on day 6.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. And we're so happy you're here.
Congratulations. Yeah, we're really glad you're here. We do this every Thursday night, but I'm going to say hi to Andrea, Oz. Joseph is here from New Hampshire.
Awesome.
Christine. Oz says he has set clear boundaries now that he's sober.
Yeah, there's a lot. I have a whole list, but boundaries is a good one, and something that we have to learn about, to some degree. I mean, depending on how long you've been using, drinking, or whatever, but if you grew up, using somewhat, we don't know boundaries and we don't respect them for sure.
Yeah,
so, I mean, that's a good one.
I think with boundaries, it's like trial and error. I mean, no one has perfect boundaries.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, you don't know what's a boundary to someone, and
right,
people are different, and a boundary is a topic in its own. Kind of thing.
I mean, I could go all day with that.
I think we do have an episode on that. I don't know. We have to look at the archives.
With the whole year we've been doing this. Samantha says the sweats are awful. She's ready for that to be over with. Girl, hang in there.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so glad you're watching this as you're going through a detox, first of all.
Dude, I am so in awe of you right now, and hang in there, because you don't want to start back up at day 1, and then all that suffering you went through was for nothing. So just please hang in there. You can do this. Just no matter what, hang in there. And
Rachel is here. She has 1 year and 14 days sober. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Valerie is on day 85 from California. What? Going to women's meetings soon. Hi, Valerie. Jennifer, Karen. Jennifer says she realized she's been able to take care of her. She has to take care of herself in order to for others.
Yes.
Yes. That's a good one.
So yeah, for those of you getting sober, just now, you have a lot of great stuff to look forward to. I know it's like super hard, and it's like, people say a day at a time, but I remember back in the day for me, it was a moment at a time. So
at a time, like, literally.
Yeah, and real quick, like I almost like want people to rally around. What was the young lady's name? Who was okay? Like people to rally around her and like just respond to her comment and just like give her some encouragement or even like give her some tips to like make maybe like for her to be a little bit more comfortable. I don't know, but let's definitely show up for people who made the effort to show up tonight just for 6 days. That's crazy.
But I love like how we're having this conversation, about the changes that we've seen in ourselves in our recovery, just because like for the new people that are here, like it gets way better.
Yeah, for sure.
We did take a poll. What were some of the answers, like the comments for that?
Yeah, so a lot of people were basically saying that they just liked how they felt. It was like a lot of like, physical, some self-esteem stuff. A lot of people also like had goals. And one of the most surprising to some degree, I mean, I say surprising loosely, but finances was a big thing. Oh. Right. So like one person was like, and I remember, oh, actually her name is Alicia. She said she has more money. And she went back and said, actually, that's a lie. She can't figure out how she always had money to get high, but now she can't find money to go to Ulta, which is a makeup store, for those of you who don't know. And I think, I don't know, like there's just something to be said about like how ruthless we were about getting money. And maybe now we were, probably like now being in your right mind, for lack of a better word, you're probably like being more aware of it, where like you could barely, I don't know, remember stuff, and it just seemed like it was easier.
And I think there's a difference between like wants and needs. I mean, when we were, using, it was like we wanted to do that, but like at the same time we needed to. So like we did whatever we could to get that. But now, like when we get sober, we really start to assess our needs and prioritize that. And yeah.
For sure. A lot of people also talked about goals and setting goals and achieving goals. And, there's a lot to be said about being able and like being realistic about what your goals are. A, being realistic, like once you have like a clear mind, and B, being more like reliable to be able to meet those goals. So Doug said he became goal-oriented. The only goal he had before was to hit up different liquor stores to make sure none of the clerks knew he had a problem. That just goes to show the lengths. And today he's in college with a 3.8 GPA, something he would have never imagined 3 years ago. Wow. So that's awesome. I mean, there's so much to unpack in that comment, but I mean, all around it's awesome. And it goes to show that like your goals were like for clerks not to know what you were up to, and now you're like getting it. Like that's amazing.
It's crazy, some of the things. And some of the comments I'm just gonna go to real quick.
Yes, please.
Augustine is here. He has 8 months.
Augustine, we're so proud of you.
It was just his birthday. Happy birthday, Augustine.
Happy birthday.
Amber couldn't make it to her meeting tonight, and she said, bam, the universe brought me here. I love it.
Welcome.
Hi, Sherry from SoCal. What? This is her 4th time here on Thursdays. She looks forward to it. Welcome.
Welcome back.
I've been celebrated 20 years on July 10th.
Amazing.
Sandra has almost 3 years. She says, find a replacement for drinking alcohol. Some new ritual, like fizzy water with lime juice. Yeah. That's and
for sure.
And Ken is asking if this is a woman's meeting.
It is not. It is
every week usually.
It's a conversation, so we like to call it. But I was gonna actually point out how a lot of women were checking in the comments. So I don't blame you for asking, because even I was, kind of taken back by the fact that it was only women commenting, but it is not. You are so welcome here, and I'm sure the rest of the fellas will join you.
And Ken commented again. He said 8 days after his first meeting back, his Cadillac was repossessed.
Wait, what?
Like after, when he came back and got sober again. That, I mean, listen, those are the consequences of a disease, that just...
And that's such a trap.
He did it again. Turns out he never made a payment on it in 3 years.
That would do it. That would get your car repoed for sure.
I hope.
3 years is a long time, actually. The fact that you were able to ride for 3 years. But yeah, that's like such a trap and such a thing about getting nearly sober. I think sort of like you start to deal with consequences, right? And then the feeling of going through those consequences could take you back out. But it's sort of like a trap, or like you feel like you're being tested. Like, how bad do you want this or whatever? So like if you just stick it out, like things do get better, but it could suck, but you like at one point or another, you have to face it, so it's not going to go away.
And Karen is off probation. She's in college online. She has a checking account and her family trusts her. I mean,
yay, that's right. So proud of her.
What kind of changes have you seen in yourself?
I mean, over the years, it's too many to name, but I was thinking about it before, we hopped on the call, not call, but on the live. But I remember being really startled at the fact that in the first few days that I wasn't as depressed. And that made no sense to me because, again, I thought that, substances made me feel better or not depressed.
Right.
And then I could not believe how much lighter and better I felt without substances. So that made no sense to me. And it just bugged me out completely. But that was such a big deal for me because I dealt with those feelings for a really long time of not feeling good about myself or, just being depressed, and to not be depressed and not taking anything to not be depressed is shook my world in a way because it turned everything upside down for me. It was contradicting everything I had thought for decades.
Right. No, that's so true. I mean, I kind of felt the same way. I mean, looking back, in a different aspect, I guess. So, for me, it wasn't such a, to you, it sounds like it was this moment of oh my God, I don't feel like this anymore.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's something that people don't take for granted. Something that people may take for granted is that when you are using, you get used to not feeling well, whether it's physically, whether it's, emotionally, whatever, or even people making you feel well, right? So that's normal. But then somehow your brain makes you think that you are feeling well because you're using, right? The brain chemistry part. But then when you get sober, you realize, holy crap, A, I didn't have to feel like that. And B, I don't. And it's things that, again, you didn't even notice while you were under the influence because you were under the influence. So for those of you who are new, pay attention to that because those are one of the things that you're going to be dude, I mean, withdrawal effects aside.
Sure.
That's
after the first, I don't know, couple weeks. Yeah. And Karen says she believes in herself. She loves herself. She trusts herself. She's not depressed. And she loves the mornings now. I can't say I love the mornings.
I was going to say, I'm yeah, me neither. But that's awesome. I think self-love is such a if anybody can achieve that, that's such a big deal, whether you're in recovery or not. I think a lot of people, in general in life struggle with that. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I think for loving myself came a long time after because I had all these consequences, I mean, it's so progressive and the self-love, I mean, it takes a long time.
Oh, I'm still working on it. I don't even, I think it for me is a day-to-day thing. There's days I struggle with that. There's days that I'm oh yeah, I do. And there's days where I'm not very nice to myself. So,
Julie says my life has become more coffee centered. Veronica, where's your coffee?
I don't have any, as a matter of fact, which I usually do, and that's really weird that I didn't like, make it a thing, but I was kind of rushing, so maybe I forgot.
I just want to say too, Geraldine is here, and she has 150 days.
Yay.
You remember when when she had like 9 days? This is amazing.
That's amazing, and we're so proud of you, and thank you for coming back and like sharing your milestones with us. What was one of your like the biggest changes you experienced?
I mean, there's so many aspects of my life that have.
But like when you first started, like let's say like the first couple of weeks that you were like, okay, I didn't expect this, or this is awesome.
I mean, okay, so like I got sober and like relapsed, and then got sober and relapsed, and got sober and relapsed, and finally got sober again. So like, I think that this last time it was like, okay, I think I was like so just self-centered on like worry and fear and that kind of, once I got sober, it just kind of like went, I don't know, kind of went away, about like fear that I could do this again because I was just done. And from that, like my perspective has continually changed about like my sobriety and my life and what is meaningful to me and what I like to do and what I like, who I am. And so it's, I don't know, that's kind of a long-winded answer, but like over time that perspective and yeah.
That's awesome. No, I think that's really cool. So it's like you had like a whole shift happen, like like outlook or like, yeah.
It was like almost like a shift in thinking. I mean, that like I don't have to like not like myself anymore. I mean,
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. And guilt too, right? Because like to some degree, like there's that guilt you live with. If you are using and you have people around you and you care about them, unless you're like a sociopath, which like you're gonna care and you're gonna feel bad, from time to time. So
that self-perpetuating cycle, I mean, for me it was like I don't have to keep living in this cycle of relapse, get sober again, relapse, get sober again. And so I think that type of thinking that like I had kind of like changed everything for me.
No, that's awesome. So Kira said, I try to catch myself when I'm being selfish and try to stop the behavior and do better. I'm also a lot more confident in who I am and a lot healthier physically and emotionally. Yeah, there's that self-awareness, which I think, is something that a lot of people get back, again, not being under the influence, you're sort of like, more aware of just like where you're at, if you're like being self-centered, how you're not just interacting with yourself, but with others. So I think that's kind of neat too.
And there's a couple of new people in here as well. Nicole says she's just freshly sober and self-love is hard to achieve.
Sure, welcome.
You're here. Sheena says, hi from BC, British Columbia, right?
Yeah.
8 months clean, but I have trouble with stress and anger because I used to drink or smoke when I was stressed and angry. But I have sugar, so I'm working on that to eat healthier, working on my emotions and heading to a meeting tonight. The sugar just gets you, like I feel like that got me in early sobriety.
Yeah, I feel like, we tend to compensate with something else, like, especially like if there's something again to be said about self-soothing and just sort of like, into something. And sugar, man, like, didn't somebody, I thought I saw something like that sugar was like the first gateway drug or something. Yeah.
A podcast about that and an article about that. So there's lots of stuff about sugar. And it's really research driven too.
Okay, so like once I did this like spiritual program online, and but besides the fact that it was like online, it was to detox not just from social media, but like caffeine, and also like it was like just getting super healthy. And one of the things was like cutting sugar. And I cannot tell you the withdrawal symptoms I went through from sugar were so bad. It was like I probably like again like got so physically sick. It really showed me how powerful sugar is as a chemical in your system, and that it was equivalent to a drug withdrawal. So like sugar is like no joke. But what I will say regarding that comment is like one thing at a time, one problem at a time. And it's like kind of like harm reduction. So like if that's helping you get through it for right now, do what you got to do, but just watch it long term.
Right. And Allie says, so these live videos happen often. Allie, we're here every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time talking about a different topic.
And our founder, Tim, is actually going to be doing weekly videos now. He started broadcasting on Monday, and he's getting into different topics. So you may want to check those out on Mondays. He usually does them morning or after, or like early afternoon. Yeah. So we technically have 2 live videos happening a week. But yeah, feel free to join us.
Dustin had 2 years, and now he's struggling. He wants to be sober.
You can do it.
You can do it. I mean, I literally same thing happened to me. But I'm glad you're here. Rhea is almost 3 years clean and sober here in Alaska. I'll be up in your state next month. So maybe we'll run into each other, you know? No, I'll be on a boat anyway.
Fancy.
Anyway, let's see.
I love all the new people checking in. Thank you guys for joining us. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about the biggest changes you've experienced or people have experienced when they got sober. So if you have a change you noticed when you first got sober, whether that's happening now or it happened whenever ago, feel free to share it in the comments. We want to hear from you.
Yeah. And there's still more comments rolling in. Let's see.
Oh, Ken said, I don't have to worry about remembering what I said since I was living lies with others as well as myself. So grateful. Yeah, you stop lying. That's a huge improvement and change that.
To like try and remember your lies. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, that's a challenge because again, you know, depending on what you're using, like, you know, remembering stuff is hard as it is. So keeping it together, and especially like after, you know, you've been telling a few of them, it becomes like a network of lies. So Ken, thanks for sharing that one. That's a good
hard work to keep up with that.
Yeah, it really is. And it's like almost like a talent to like keep up with it.
Brittany's 2 months, 8 days.
Congrats.
Okay, what about this one, Raka? Dustin, you know, he's struggling.
Yeah.
He feels like he doesn't deserve it.
Why not?
Yeah, I want to know why not too.
Yeah, no, why not? I mean, like, I don't know you, dude, but like every single human being is worthy of living a healthy life, no matter what you've been through. Like, you're not beyond hope. Like please, like whatever story you've told yourself, what anybody has ever told you is BS. Like, that's not true, and we're here to tell you that. So like, please, just, I don't know what your reason is, but like, I can bet you is not true.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's definitely not true. What's another comment?
So Rob says in just 73 days, he has a different attitude about life. He gets up early, goes to meetings, plays sports, works out, and he's employable. He cares about others. He lost his beer belly. He feels healthy. He sleeps well, has more money, and has stopped having heart attacks from meth overdoses.
Wow.
Like, dude, that's like a pretty gnarly comment. And Rob, like, we're so proud of you. That's amazing that you've managed to feel like that's so many changes in 73 days. So you guys, if you're feeling like you're not worth it, if you're feeling like whatever, in just like that many days, everything can change.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yeah. Nicole has 4 months. She says a big change for her was getting her family back, but she still has trouble sleeping. It's a big one.
She has trouble what?
Sleeping.
Yeah, I have trouble sleeping. I mean, It's, yeah.
I have trouble, like, I can, like, sleep during the day, but I have trouble, like at night, I'm wide awake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for sleeping, like, just see, like, check out your diet. Also, I don't know how active you are. I mean, I hate working out, so I'm the worst person to be giving this advice, but maybe, like, sort of, like, tiring your body out during the day. Like, if you like working out, like, work out, see if that helps, and your body will naturally, like, want to, like, renew itself.
Yeah.
In early recovery, that, like, sleeping is an issue for a lot of people. So you're not alone in that one.
Yeah. And there's, like, there's so many things you could do. I remember when the treatment center I was in, we had to, like, write these nightly inventories, and on the back of them, if you couldn't sleep, they had all these things to do if you can't sleep.
Like what?
Like it was like drink warm milk, or eat a banana, or like, do some deep breathing. There were so many, and I was like, okay, this is kind of weird, but I'll try it.
I mean, that would make me fall asleep, like, not wanting to do those things. Jonathan says, it was like someone hit a switch and the world went from black and white to vivid technicolor. That's a dope description.
I like that. That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, Dustin has given his reasoning.
Okay, what do you say?
His AA group is weird. He doesn't feel like a part of the group. He says, I know it's probably my ego. I just want to stop. Yes. I think, what do you think before I give my...
No, you go for it, because I'm sort of having a hard time connecting why his AA group would make him feel like he doesn't deserve sobriety.
But maybe it's just like his thing, like he feels like they don't feel like that. He doesn't feel a part of, but, like, I feel like when I first got sober, like, I didn't feel a part of anywhere.
Oh, I still don't feel a part of anything. Like, yeah.
Right. So, like, I feel like that's kind of what it's like, this game we play with ourselves.
Yeah.
I belong here, so I'm going to go, like, drink or do whatever. And it's just like an excuse for ourselves because we feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, for sure. No, I could see that, but, like, I just, like, it makes me so sad. Like, he doesn't feel like he's worth it, and especially if it's because of other people and how they're making you feel. And, like, I know, like, some people may say nobody can make you feel anything or whatever, but it's just like, if you're not putting into the group, like, find another group. Like, you don't have to, unless you're, like, in treatment or have some sort of, like, commitment as to why you have to go to that meeting or that group. Like, you don't have to, like, stick around that. Try something different, but don't do it to yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if in fact, like, somebody's making you feel that way, okay, but, like, don't, like, trip your head up, and make up reasons why this is not achievable for yourself, because it's not true. You can't achieve it. And there's hundreds of people in the comments, like, talking about how they've overcome it. So you can do it.
Allie says this Saturday will mark her 1 year out of a 6-month rehab. So over a year and a half, probably. Since then, she's been working 2 jobs and will be closing on her very first house at the end of the month. It's a long, hard journey, but the strength she's seen in herself is something she never knew she was capable of.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. What else, Veronica?
Let's see.
Let me look at what I...
Oh, so Tim said after 39 years of continuous sobriety, he would have to say is being in touch with his emotions and having his soul back. So much gratitude. So, yeah, there's something to be said about getting your feelings back. I've never been a fan of feelings, but they're important because they signal things. So, yeah, that's a big change.
In the poll, Karen says she cries a lot more, even happy tears, but I am feeling everything.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, I have those moments too, where I feel like if a commercial comes on, I'm like, oh, like emotional, or like certain things. And it's just like, yeah.
I was looking at a picture just before this, and I like started to cheer. I mean, crazy.
No, but it's such a gift to like have our feelings back and to know like that's how we know we're alive.
Right.
And it's like if we don't have feelings, even though again I'm not a big fan of them, if we don't have feelings, it's like we're sort of like not alive, So
yeah,
as bad as they may seem, the thing about them, and we always talk about this, is that they're not real. So going back to Dustin and what he's going through, like what you're feeling right now is not reality. It feels real because that's what you're feeling and that's all you can think about, right? But like, it's not real. And if you give it time, it's going to change and you're going to feel different.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nicole says her daughter's father went to rehab the same time as her, and she found out he was using again. She doesn't know what to do.
Oh man, it is so rough when it's like when you're dealing with somebody else's using, because first thing you need to do is get support for yourself and go to Al-Anon or get some support, of somebody who's been there before. And Al-Anon is such a great resource, or Nar-Anon, whichever one, and go to a meeting because the people in that community have been through what you're going through and can give you really great advice on how to navigate very specific problems that you may have co-parenting and just how to detach with love or set boundaries. Like, it's such a like underrated resource, Al-Anon. So that's
we have live on this type of topic. So if you go back in our videos, it's actually with
your mom.
My mom. Yeah.
So you do that. You could, before you go to, like, if you feel uncomfortable or weirded out about like going to an Al-Anon meeting or something like that, there is a bit in the video section. You can look for that video with Tori's mom about, how she coped with Tori's. I mean, that's a little bit different. It's a parent-child relationship.
My dad was an alcoholic too, and my mom had to deal with, that. So there's a lot of good info in that.
Oh, good. So there you go. But definitely start there because there's a lot of specifics and, it's hard. It's really hard to be in that scenario because you have zero control.
And, take care of yourself. I mean, I know when I got sober and it was like, oh my God, I need to like go rescue everybody and have everybody tell everyone that I'm sober and I can help everyone now. But like you can't do that at the expense of yourself.
Nope. So Missy said no stress or regrets over her actions from the night before. I mean, yeah, that's a thing. That's a change. And, you don't have to apologize to that many people anymore. And, that's like some really like bad stuff can go down, so that's a good one, I think.
Tracy is asking a question. She says, do you think someone who had drug problems can drink beer? I am not gonna, I'm just gonna say, I'm not I'm not a therapist. We're not licensed here. So we don't know you, first of all. And so we are not entitled or qualified to give that type of answer.
But based on our experience, I mean, is it impossible? No. But like, do you want to set yourself up and like, like go down that road and be in that trap? Like, if you're sort of like what's, like, is it that necessary? Like you really need to check your motives.
Yeah.
Like, and like, is it necessary? Like, it's not impossible, but like really check your motives.
And like you're like asking this question too, like on a sober online community too. So like, just FYI, that's where you're asking this question.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I almost feel like it's like, okay, if I get validation from the group, then I can,
right.
then I have a pass. And it's just like, you know, again, like check your motivation, and like some people can, some people, you know, but we don't like, you don't know if you're that person, and like who knows like how long you have, how hard you've fought to get to where you are. So like would you want to like, you know, give that up? I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I think you already know the answer, and kind of like just are hoping, like, because we've all done it. We've all asked like that question to sort of see, like, yo, if this person says yes, then that like is the cosign I needed. Yeah, yeah, we've all done it.
Oh, hell yeah.
For sure. What else are people saying?
Let's see.
Okay, Sean, real quick. Sean said he has more control over what he says and does, and how he reacts to others or like circumstances.
Yeah.
So yeah, so for sure having more control of your actions, what you say, do, that's a big change. Larry said his waistline got significantly bigger when he got clean. And that's a change that a lot of people go through. They either gain or lose weight. Our body like reacts, you know, because like if you're not eating, or, you know, most people who are using substances are malnutrition or have like vitamin deficiencies. Even if you're still eating, maybe it's not the right kind of food. So it's very common to have those changes, but normally, you know, it balances out after a while. What do you think, Tori?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the first time I got sober, like 7, 8 years ago, I gained a lot of weight, and I was so. And I mean, you know, since then it's just fluctuating, you know. But I've gained weight because I was very like malnourished.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened? What happened with you?
I think I did like put on a few pounds, and then I had like this whole like thinking that, you know, that's what actually kept me thin using, and that made me like
Not
say miss it for like lack of better way of expressing it. And because I don't like working out, and you know, I don't like being active. I'm more of a lounger. So like, you know, like a lot of people when they get clean and sober, they love working out and they go to a gym, and that becomes their new thing. And you know, they get really fit, and that's like their new hobby, and it fills so many voids, and it's a great thing. But for me, like I didn't want to work out, so I kind of like hated that I no longer had something to keep me thin. So that's also a big trap that, you know, we sort of set for ourselves, and we think that that was like a good thing when it wasn't, you know. So yeah, but that's a change that people experience for the better or for the worse, you know.
No, I hear you. I mean, it's tough. And Dustin is one that is struggling. He said he would get sober for New Year's. How many times do I say that too? He got a DWI the day before New Year's. Life in court has kept him depressed. He's an IOP and is working with a sponsor. Yet he keeps lying to everybody. He says it's so crazy. I don't know why I do what I do.
What does your therapist and IOP say? Like, have you talked to your therapist at IOP? Like, what's the feedback you're getting, and like why you're like in that loop? But like, thank goodness, like you have like, yeah, I mean, court like sucks, and like those consequences suck, but like those things keep you like reliable and like accountable, rather, you know, and like even the days that you don't feel like showing up or staying sober, they keep you that way. And you don't know like what that's keeping you from doing. And like, God forbid you got into a situation you couldn't come back from, like, you know, something really bad happening. Like, so I don't know, like, I think like gratitude and getting into like that space and finding stuff to be grateful for will really like be helpful.
When I think like you're already telling on yourself and you're already saying like, this is what I'm doing, I don't know what to do, but yet like you're doing something about it. So yes, you do know what to do.
Yeah, I feel like you want to do the right thing by like saying it and talking about it and sharing about it. Like you want to do the right thing. You want to change. You want to do, but you know, like it sucks. Like we have to put in work. Like it's not fun. And you know, whether, you know, we're all struggling with something, right? And like, you know, for some of us, we may feel like we're not worthy of it. Like whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You know?
Wouldn't you say like nothing worthwhile in life ever comes from like doing something easy?
Yeah, I mean, to some degree, for sure. Like, I mean, there's some things that like shouldn't be forced and should flow, you know, like love or whatever. But
A lot of things that we want to gain and want to like go
there's
towards,
effort involved for sure.
it's going to be an uphill battle. I mean,
Or investment, like time, resources, energy, like, you know, at work, like if you're trying to learn a skill, if you're going to school, like it's harder when it's like our feelings and changing and, you know, giving up like bad behavior or negative behaviors. Like it just sucks, you know, like there's nothing fun about it. But if you hang in there and you go through it, like it does get better. Like it just does. You just have to hang in there, and like what you're feeling again is not reality. You know, like it's temporary and it's gonna pass.
keep talking about like you lying consistently like that, because like eventually if you keep talking about what you're doing, someone's going to call you out. And if they are like, hopefully at your IOP, they'll call you out on lying again, and they'll know like your patterns. So keep talking about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, what do you say we wrap this up?
Yeah, I think we've gone through a lot of stuff, a lot of different changes that people have been, you know, up to as per usual. Like if you need help and, you know, need to reach out, like feel free to comment on here. Or Tori, how else can they reach out for help?
You can get in touch with me. You can email me personally. My email is Tori, Tori, @sobernation.com. You can always send a message to this Facebook page, our Instagram page, but we respond better if you email me. And yeah.
And there's also tons of resources. I mean, the website is full of articles. We've been writing articles. Technically, Tori has been writing them for years now. So like any topic you can think of, we probably have it on there. Also, we have a library full of videos. So again, if there's a specific topic you're looking for, check that out. We also have sobrietyengine.com. And what that is exclusive and like membership community. And by exclusive, I just mean that is like more support, and you have access to like online courses and different benefits. So if you're looking for something more structured than our live videos and our free support, check that out. But as per usual, we're here every Thursday night. And also we do the Sober Since feature. And if you want to share your story, or if you want to write for Sober Nation, let Tori know.
Yeah, if you want to write, I'm always looking for people to write some articles for me. Just email me again, Tori @sobernation.com. Doesn't matter if you like are a good writer or not, or if you don't think you're a good writer, because everyone can write. Right? Right? Oh my God.
What?
I said right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, you know, we have to like wrap it up when we get delirious. Like it's been a long day, but we are happy that you guys tuned in. If you're watching the replay, thank you for watching. If you have any ideas for future topics, let us know in the comments. Clearly, we want to talk about stuff you find relevant and is important to you. So thank you so much for joining us.